Hello and welcome to the last SportsChat podcast of 2015. It's a shame we couldn't end it on a happier note as the Millers fell to a 4-1 defeat at Fulham last night. Joining me to discuss that and the recent form of Rotherham United is Millers correspondent David Beddows.
Good morning.
And news editor Michael Upton.
Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. So, Millers, Dave, heading into 2016 out of the bottom three after two fabulous wins against Hull and Bolton. But last night they just couldn't keep that momentum going.
No, it sounds like it was an eventful game, top notch. I mean, I think Rotherham had something like 22 shots to Fulham's 14, so they carried plenty of threat. But Fulham, for one, so they've got like firepower, defended well as well. So Rotherham, ran on that type of night. So, Neil Redfern's talked about one step forward, one step back, and we're following that pattern, aren't we?
We are, Michael. Must be a little bit disappointing from Rotherham's fans' view because after the recent great win against Hull and then following that up on Bolton on Boxing Day, Rotherham have slipped up and let Fulham get out of their sights a little bit with them 3 points, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps we should have done this podcast yesterday when everyone was a bit more upbeat. I think, to be fair to Rotherham, it just goes to show the strides that Neil Redfern's side have made in the last week or so. That we were talking about being disappointed about not winning 3 games in a row. A month ago, we'd have really killed for a single win. Maybe people getting a bit greedy. It's also very easy to forget that Fulham are massively underachieving. They've got a lot of quality in that squad. When you look at the players who played and scored last night, players like Woodrow and Kacalikalic and McCormack, very good players. And it's really a mystery why they're down the bottom. You can't defend, I suppose, is the answer.
But Dave, Neil Redfern said after the game that it could have been a game too far for Rotherham United. They're starting to look a little bit tired. How important will January be to get reinforcements in and to thicken out that squad a little bit? Because it's looking a little threadbare, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing. I think he said he were down to 11 players plus 7 subs for last night. And of course, his recall Richard Wood. He's not in a position with the squad he's got to alter a winning team. He had to go with the team he did last night. And he was saying they looked a little bit leggy at times. Again, it's the same for all clubs at Christmas, but it does emphasise the need. There needs some extra bodies in and some quality bodies as well.
Michael, how important do you see January being in the overall complex of the season? Is it make or break for Neil Redfern and for Rotherham United?
It's difficult to know. I mean, it's going to be a case of having more depth to the squad. I think if you look at a year ago, we'd all agree that Steve Evans got an awful lot of players in. Not that many of them worked, and that was one of the things he was highly criticised for, especially towards the end of the season, not having a consistent core of players. I think maybe if Neil Redfern knows anything from that experience, it's keep your core of players and then having a few could come in when needed. I would just say the Richard Wood thing's a really interesting thing, because a lot of people I know who are and respect as fans think he's a decent player and found it a bit of a mystery he went out on loan to Chesterfield in the first place. Maybe now he's back, he might find that he can have more of a shot at a place. That's the kind of addition maybe they need anyway. Well, a player who's already on the books.
It's funny, isn't it, Dave? Because he's not had a fair crack of the whip, has he? He's never had a run in the team under Evans or now under Redfern. He's been shipped out on loan a couple of times. He's played the odd game here and there and looked decent, in fairness. I can't remember him making a mistake. And yet he still finds himself on the peripheries. What's the guy got to do to get a game?
I know. And of course he's been out on loan at Fleetwood, he's been out on loan at Crawley. He's had a really truncated time here. He's played a handful of first team games, that's all. There might just be a chance. I mean, there's going to be a lot happening in January, a lot of comings and goings. There's decisions to be made on the likes of Grant Ward and Foreign Rawson, and then there's 3 or 4 players who are out on loan like Bowery, and there's a lot of imponderables to come. And amidst all this, Richard Wood might come back into the mix.
Just going back to what Michael said a moment ago about a core group of players, Dave, Neil Redfern, we are starting to see that, aren't we, with the spine of the team. There's the Lee Camp, there's Kurt Broadfoot in front, who has been a titan amongst men, hasn't he, in the last few games. You've got Smallwood and Frecklington in front of that, with Danny Ward up front. That seems to be sort of a spine to build around, doesn't it, that's coming out at the minute.
It is, it's dropping into place, isn't it? There's one or two, standing, like you say, you've got the people in the middle, right down the middle. Forwards, Leon Best looks like he may need an operation, so Neil might be looking at bringing a striker in. We've been talking about this for the last 2 years, haven't we? And he may be looking at his full-back positions and a bit more guiding that midfield area. So all departments really been looked at, perhaps apart from goalkeeper position.
This is moving on a little bit now. purely speculation, but Lewis Buxton is an interesting case at the moment at Rotherham United. Neil Redfern said after the Bolton game, when Buxton was left out of the squad, that there was a contractual issue with the club that will be sorted out between the player and the club. Dave, have we got any idea what that could be revolving? Is it appearance based? Is it financial?
Well, I did ask Neil about this yesterday when I spoke to him, and again, he wouldn't be drawn it. He couldn't clarify, so it's a matter of the club. It would imply it's appearance thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So there's something to sort out.
Given the fact as well that Bolton was the halfway point of the season, you'd think it's something around playing half the amount of games of the season. Seems logical, anyway.
It does, doesn't it? We're just going to have to see how it pans out.
Right, looking forward then, Michael. Next up for the Millers, it's Preston North End away on Saturday. A team that came up last season, struggled to find the feet early on, but looked to sort of be grinding out results without being steamrollering anyone. What can Rotherham hope for you, Michael?
Well, it's interesting. Preston, one of those promoted sides that haven't pulled up that many trees. I think they may be looking to consolidate and stay up. They don't score that many goals either, so we might find it's a fairly low-scoring game. Rather than be looking to get back to winning ways and pull away from the bottom three, I think maybe we got a bit excited after a couple of weeks and thought, maybe mid-table could be in sights. Still only out the bottom three on goal difference. Everyone knows that. Back to consolidate, and then it will be. It's very important to capitalise now, because there's obviously a distraction of the FA Cup coming up.
That's right, isn't it, Dave? And I mean, it's important, it's a cliche in football, but you've got to beat the teams around you, haven't you? Preston, come the end of the season, will certainly be one of them teams who will be in that sort of lower to mid-table mini-league with Rotherham.
Yeah, Preston haven't the firepower to pull out of trouble convincingly, but they are very good at the back. I think they've had something like 12 clean sheets, got one of the better defences. They've got a backline and a meanness about them. End of 2014, Rotherham was perched just above the drop zone. End of 2015, we're in a very, very similar position. It just shows how hard it is for a club of Rotherham strides to make strides in this division. That's something we've got to try and start doing.
It's very true, isn't it? And I mean, the saga with Steve Evans earlier on in the year and Neil Redfern coming in may have knocked Rotherham back a couple of paces, because it's almost like starting afresh. But at least Rotherham fans can see that they've not tumbled behind that far in comparison to last year.
Absolutely, give the guy a chance. He's still working with Steve Evans' players. I think the way he's trying to do things, he's starting to hit home. There's it's a slow and it's a shallow one, but there is an upward curve here.
And Michael, there's more positive signs, isn't there, for 2016 than negatives?
Oh, certainly. I think a lot of people have got a lot of faith in Neil Redfern. There were a couple of whispers when things were going badly, but I think fairly swiftly quietened. I think people want to give him a go. I think he has got some talent on that side. I think there have been some upbeat moments like the return to the side and to form of Lee Frecklington, a very important player. There seems to be a lot more going forward, certainly in the last few weeks. A lot to be, because the kind of stagnation of autumn seems to have drifted away a bit. There's a bit of positivity there. Grant Ward's continued emergence, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Joe Newell. It seems to be a real emerging talent.
He's one of the assets in the team, Joe Newell, along with players like Johnson Clark-Harris, who are in that young developing bracket. But 2016 could be a big year for him. Yeah,
it could be. Looking for him to kick on. I mean, there is a young thread to the team, isn't there? And maybe Neil will be looking to just balance that out with getting a bit more experience and know-how in.
He's already shown that, Anthony, with the signings of like Stephen Kelly and Leon Best and players like that.
He has read in that direction. It's part of a nice blend, isn't it? Yeah.
So plenty to look forward to in 2016 for Rotherham United and Neil Redfern. Then fingers crossed anyway. Quick reminder that the match is back on Monday, the first one of 2016. It'll have all the action from Saturday's game against Preston. If you want to join in with any of the conversation that we've been having today, you can by tweeting us at @RothTizersPort. But that just leaves me, Dave and Michael, to wish you all a very happy new year and a very prosperous and healthy 2016. Thank you for listening.